Hello everyone and welcome back. So before I start this mission, I just want to say, rest in peace, Stephen Hawkins. Alright, let's start out in Cold Call. We have lost contact with 2 transports en route to the outer colonies. There are more than 400 Teferi on those vessels. With the rising threat of the Breen, I fear the worst. Our last location was near VZA 4001, and I suggest that you start your search there. The Breen have no compunction against attacking civilian ships. We seek peace with the Breen, as we do with all beings. But the answer offers a friendship with death and destruction. Find our ships. If there are any survivors, please bring them home safely. Of course. Sir, we are receiving an emergency distress signal from the freighter Cybok. I'm patching it through the main view screen now. To all ships in range, this is the Teferi freighter Cybok. We are under attack and require immediate assistance. We have no weaponry on board and our shields are failing. Anyone who can hear this, please help. Must be one of the Breen raiding parties in this area, sir. If we hurry, we may be able to intercept them before they finish off the freighter and leave the area. Another opportunity for glory, and a chance to show Teferi the might of the Empire. Relaunch ships. Thank you for saving us. Our sister ship, the Pak-2, was waylaid by Breen raiders at our scheduled rendezvous point. We made a micro-warp jump as soon as the Breen arrived and used the magnetic field of the comet to hide our energy signature, but the Breen had better sensors than we do. They have found us. If you didn't come along when you did, we would have been obliterated. I'm worried about the Breen being our next stop, so I'm going to try to get there ahead of schedule and be gone before they arrive. If you could, please find the Pak-2. There are dozens of people aboard that ship. This is the Teferi ship Pak-2. We escaped a Breen slaver attack, and our antimatter containment unit and warp coils are non-functional. We need some replacement parts immediately. We're on the edge of a warp core breach. Is there any ship in range? Please, we need help. Let's get there. There are the Breen ships inbound at warp 7. 2 waves from the look of it. The first should be on top of us in a few seconds. Battle stations. Chelgret warship. Next one should be a Sharthelan. And I was right.
Target shields have failed.
Thank you for your fortunate assistance. We should be fine from here. I want to catch up our sister ship, the Cybok. They fled at the first sight of the Breen Raiders. We heard some of the slavers who attacked us talking about the Zarya system. If you want to take care of the Breen menace for good, you might want to start by looking for them there. Course laid in for the Zarya system, sir. The Zarya system appears to be nothing more than a broken planetoid, but perhaps we'll find something that the Teferi missed. Standing by and engage at your command. Let's go. Sir, that destroyed planet has a dilithium-rich core. Looks like the Breen have set up a mine inside the remains of the planetoid, and true to form, they're using all captured Teferi as slave labor. We have to defeat the Breen picket squadrons before we can beam down to the mine. Looks like there's only a small force. Not going to take any chances, going to launch all fighters. 3 down, 1 to go.
Target shield has failed.
Alright, now time for ground combat. As last of the scout squadron, sir. Unfortunately, we just can't beam the Teferi up. Brain has some sort of transport disruptor field in place. We need to get down there and disable it before we can rescue the Teferi slave laborers. Understood. Brain are using they're using disruption fields to interfere with transporters keyed to Teferi biology. We should be able to beam in and out safely, as will the Breen. However, we must disable these inhibitors before we can beam out the Teferi survivors, of course. Once we've killed the Breen guards, there should be nobody left to re-enable the transport disruptors.
Shield losing power.
I hate those damn grenades they use. That's all disruptors and guards, sir. I'm picking up a new contact aboard the station. We may have aroused the curiosity of the Breen commander. We should make sure all of the Teferi have been beamed away before we investigate this new threat. We have the confirmation all the Teferi prisoners have transported safely. We are clear to return. Are you the one known as Deli? I was expecting someone more impressive. Well, screw you, thought Trell. After all, Thought Wen was one of my most reliable veterans. Defeating him must have pushed you to your limits. No, not really. He died real quickly. I like to say I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, but I expect Thought Gran will end your life here. I'm afraid that won't be possible. You've been interesting, but ultimately insignificant. Farewell. I'll show you yeah. Can't speak tonight.
Shield losing power. Shield losing power.
Oh, Chagrin's down. Chagrin, where are you? There you are. Now that the officer in charge has been dealt with, this entire mining operation should fall apart. But who sent that message? Thought Trell? Could he be the one who's behind the problems that the Teferi are having? If that is the case, we must find the cowardly dog and destroy him. Agreed. Command should be to send patrols to ensure the Breen don't set up shop here again, or perhaps we'll be able to convince the Teferi to surrender the rights to this dilithium mine for the Empire. We can leave whenever you are ready. I'm ready. The survivors are on their way home and will be sending an expedition to assess the validity of operating the mines ourselves. I think it should be wise to consider a joint operation with your government. The resources in the Zarya system are rare, and the best way to remain the balance may be to share them with you. Thank you for all your assistance. Your actions help to preserve the balance. I'm going to equip that torpedo. We are receiving a distress signal in the Raven system. The ferry transport weathered a Breen attack, but they've taken heavy casualties and are requesting immediate assistance. My people do not have military ships to Harmaster, and I am loath to send a lightly armed rescue vehicle to such a dangerous situation. Please, you must do whatever you can to help them. Sure, why not? Didn't plot the course correctly, come on. Captain, we're being hailed by the disabled Deferi frigate. Putting it on screen now. Thank you for responding to our distress call. We've been boarded by the Breen and taken severe casualties. We could use any medical aid you could render. Please approach and beam over as soon as you can. Yes, but I'm not a medical officer. Please beam over any medical supplies and personnel you can spare. We'll send your transporter chief the coordinates to our trauma center. As Martok said, Klingons make excellent warriors but lousy doctors. By the balance, you couldn't have arrived at a better time. I need every available person to help with patients. I think the Breen take pleasure in causing pain. A few of our crew were killed, but many have been injured. If you want to help, I need someone at table 7. Take the patient's medical history and triage the injury. If it is a minor If it's a minor I keep on wanting to say injury. If it's a minor issue, go ahead and treat them so we can make room for another patient. Please, it hurts. Help me. What hurts? My left side. I took a disruptor hit from a Breen rifle. Please, I need something for the pain. Do you have anything that will help? Do you have any allergies? I'm highly allergic to Metarapan. I once given it and my airways swelled. It was almost completely blocked. I almost died. Okay. Sure, I gotta finish asking all the questions, don't I? Are you taking any medications currently? No, do it look like I should be? Have you been treated for anything related to this issue? How often do you think I'm shot by a Breen? Last time I saw a physician was 2 years ago. I was treated for polywater intoxication. When was the last time you ate? Midday, I guess. What does that have to do with anything? Why haven't you given me something for the pain yet? What were you doing before you were injured? I was repairing a power conduit on deck 2 when the Breen came out of engineering and shot me. He didn't give me a chance to surrender. Wouldn't have fought them. Well, of course, I gotta hit this one. That's what I had to do. I think it's bicardine. Yes, it is bicardine. The pain from the disruptor wound is subsiding. It feels much better. Thank you. Bicardine is having a desired effect, Captain. Now we can use the protoplasma on the wound to treat it without causing undue pain to the patient. Good work with that last patient. Has anyone ever told you you have a talent for medicine? Need someone to check out a patient on table 3? I'd appreciate any help you can give us. Mother, is that you? What hurts? Elder boy named Tuck. Okay. Do you have any allergies? What does your mother Stu have to do with any allergies? Are you taking any medications? Have you been treated for anything related to this issue? When was the last time you ate? That's close, you're picking berries. What were you doing before you got injured? Okay, now you're talking about rhymes. Patient seems disoriented and unaware of their surroundings. I agree, Captain. It may be a symptom of brain trauma, but we can't rule out a physiological breakdown until we do a mental status check. The stress of a brain attack may have been more than the patient's mind could process. Do you know your name? You approximately know what time it is. Do you know where you are? We have our dessert now. There's all my vegetables. Do you know what year it is? Something obviously wrong with this patient's mental status. I recommend we scan the brain tissue for deep trauma. A hypersphenciogram should reveal if there's any damage. It appears to be a cortical implant in the brain's patient, causing disorientations and delusions. There is an extremely high amount of neural activity in the area around the implant. Perhaps if we're able to decrease activity with anesthetic, the patient would be more responsive. Well, anything's a shot. Let's try this one. Yes, it is. Where am I? I remember the brain attack. There was this medic. He seemed sad. The brain implanted me with a cortical implant. It's been forcing me to relive memories from my past. Please help me get out of my head. I don't want to live like this. I agree. It worked, Captain. Removing the cortical implant is a tricky process. We should confer with Dr. Kosa about how to proceed. I'm not familiar with any technology like this. Any attempt I'd make at removing it would be based upon an educated guess. We have some captured brain in the brig waiting transport to a holding facility. Perhaps you should question them. One of the monsters who did this to my patient might know how to reverse the process. Okay. Sir, there are a few things you should know about the brain before we talk to them. The brain are a warrior race. They do what's expedient and will often take prisoners rather than kill. You get more work out of a slave than a dead man, after all. I spit upon their expediency, but the brain is only logical. They survive. They do not live as we do. Strangely, though, reports of interrogations of brain prisoners reveal the brain have a strong sense of personal honor and are troublesome when honor is insulted. If you want to get more information on them, I suggest you do not insult them or suggest they kill without cause. Okay. Leave me alone. I do not speak to animals. What is your name? Look at you, cowering in the shadow of Thought Trell. How could the fairy possibly have against? What hope could the fairy possibly have against might like his? Wow, can't you not speak proper English? I will not answer your questions. Go bother someone else. Tell me about Thought Trell. Thought Trell has more power and vision than a pathetic being like yourself could possibly comprehend. The fairy will be the first to fall to his might. It will not be the last. It will not stop until the entire Alpha Quadrant serves the Brain Confederacy. Someday soon I will stand on the blasted remains of your homeworld and celebrate our victory. I will grind the remains of your leaders to dust under my boot heels. Thought Trell will be the man who makes this possible. I doubt it. Torture me if you wish. I'll never betray the Brain Confederacy. What is your name? Dot dot dot. Are you here to let me go? What is your name? I am Tron. Ask your questions, warrior. What are you doing here? I'm a combat medic in the 5th Order. I served the Breen Confederacy. I was ordered to go to the system by my superiors. I'm sure that you've encountered other Breen in the Teferi sector. What are you doing here? I am currently incarcerated in the Teferi brig. I was captured at the bridge when my boarding party was overwhelmed by the Teferi security teams. While the ship may not be carrying military personnel, a 3-man boarding party stands little chance against 4 heavily armed security teams defending their ship and their captain. We gave away the terrain advantage, and now we are paying the price. You must have known this wasn't a military ship. Why did you attack it? I do not feel comfortable continuing this conversation with my commanding officers in a cell nearby. He can overhear everything that we are saying. While I do not agree with his actions in this matter, I respect his position of authority. I will not throw his dishonor in his face. I would. All audio signals entering and leaving the cell are being blocked by an acoustic dampening field. Your commanding officer cannot hear what we are saying. My superior thought that these Teferi civilians might have the information which we have been searching. While I have disagreed with this choice of target, it's not a soldier's place to question his commanding officer. I think my ascension was the reason I was selected to join the assault on the ship's bridge. Dangerous task in the best of circumstances, and one that had at least chance of success. Did you object to your commanding officer about this assignment? I'm not sure how you run things in the Klingon Empire, but in the Breen Confederacy we obey our commanders. I may not always be pleased with what I am ordered to do, but I understand there's a goal that must be achieved and that I may not have all the facts that my superiors do. Do you believe the goal you're attempting to achieve is worth killing civilians? Good, that one worked. I didn't want to attack this ship. There is a nobility in being a soldier. When I enter battle, I know I could be killed. I know others will die at my hands. If that's what we must do, it is part of being a soldier. Civilians are not part of this unspoken agreement. They do not wake up each day knowing in their hearts it could be their last. It should be out of bounds as targets for people like you and me. There is no honor in fighting someone who is unprepared to fight back. I regret I had orders to kill these civilians. More than that, I regret that I carried out these orders. Did you have an option that did not involve attacking the Teferi? Hey, Batman, welcome back. I suppose I could have hurled myself out of the airlock. My choices were to die or follow my orders. It is unfortunate, not much of a choice. Foolishly, I believed that if I took part in this mission, I could do my best to prevent needless violence against those who should not have been in battle. I was wrong. So your mission wasn't just to kill a Teferi on this ship. I'm a combat medic. Normally my task is to repair the injuries of my fellow soldiers. On this mission, I was tasked with capturing civilians alive and fitting them with subspace cortical implants. These devices are barbaric even by our standards. We use them to obtain memories from the most obstinate of interrogation subjects. I'm doing pretty well, Batman. How about yourself? Got this damn sinus stuff going on still. This particular implant has a subspace relay intended to capture and transmit these memories so that my superiors can sift through the secrets locked in our victims' minds even as we move on to implant more subjects. Why do you do this? What information did the Teferi have that you needed so badly? You've been alright? That's pretty good. I'm not sure exactly what my commanders wanted to learn from these people. I can only guess that my superiors wanted information that they felt could be held by any member of the Teferi population. The cortical implants are calibrated to bring long-term memories to the surface, even going back to the target's childhood. Perhaps they wanted to learn something that even a Teferi child might know. Would the probe Teferi know what memories were being searched? Perhaps if they had the mental fortitude to recall the memories that were triggered during their interrogation, the pain for the implants can be quite intense. It will be quite intense. How do we remove the implant? The removal of the cortical implant is a very delicate procedure. The implants are intended to be strong enough to survive the interrogation process, but to be difficult to be removed by subject or anyone else. I have worked with these implants for some time. Have your doctors talk to me, then I'll tell them what they need to do in order to remove them. Well, thank you, Tron. This is just information we needed. I'll round up a surgical team and we'll begin the process of removing the cortical implant immediately. I spent some time talking to the patient while you were in the brig. It sounded like to me the brain implant was triggering memories of the patient's early childhood, many of them involving rhymes and songs. Rhymes and songs. Most Teferi parents and grandparents sing to their children and tell them stories of our past and our traditions. Common theme in our songs is the Preservers. We sing of their travels through the universe, their efforts to maintain balance, and their great archive. My children are particularly fond of songs about the Preserver Archive, a hidden place where they left all their technology and records of the ancient days. It's an interesting story, but I don't know if a place like that could actually exist. After all, we're talking about children's rhymes. Captain Debris must believe that the Preserver Archive exists. There is no other explanation as to why they would target the Teferi civilians, in order to obtain information about nursery rhymes. Before we leave, Tron has requested to talk to you again. He's waiting in the cell. Thank you for returning. I know helping you was the honorable thing to do, but because I've done so, I can never return to the Breen Confederacy. Therefore, I would like to request asylum from the Klingon Empire. I, however, am not alone in this request. There's a small group of Breen that share my feelings. We know that anyone who attacks innocents cannot rightfully call himself a warrior. If you accept us, we would all like to join you. I'll give you the information necessary to contact them. It may take some time if they're willing to respond. Your future actions will help speed up that process. We have sent the communication based upon Tron's information. I cannot be sure it was received, so at this point, I believe the only thing we can do is wait for a response. Who could imagine there was Breen capable of honor? I would never believed it. I've heard stories secondhand. The Teferi are now in a controlled situation. Are you ready to leave the system? Yes. We must return to the fair immediately. Breen are searching the preserver technology. They once again targeted the ruins near our city. I fear that more of my people will die. With each death, the balance shifts. These attacks need to stop. We're depending upon you. Stop the Breen. Keep the secrets. Let the preservers safe from their treachery. Captain Long Range scans confirm the ferry ambassador's suspicions. It appears there's a portion of the star chart hidden in the ruins of the planet's surface. Somebody's interfering with the scans, though, so we can't pinpoint the location from here. Wayne team might be able to do surface scans in order to locate the star chart and retrieve it, but we need to be close to transporter range in order to beam down. Yes, of course. Oh, come on, Thrak. You can't move closer. Just a guessing game. There we go. Captain ship sensors are reporting multiple anomalous signatures, maybe Breen ships at long range. Transporter room standing by to beam you up as soon as you're ready. Let's do it. There's a Breen attack force converging in our position. They must have realized we were coming here for the part of Star Chart. I bet they waited for us to do the work so they could swoop in and steal our data. Breen shall not profit from their treachery. Going to red alert.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Shields have failed. Target shields have failed.
Gotta get my loot. As last one, sir. So with all this debris, I don't trust the sensors. It could be more waiting for a chance to attack. Peter has completed its analysis of Star Chart, and there is an encoded marker indicating the Shinga system is a significant location. Perhaps we should investigate there next, laying a course in your command. Do it. Captain, I'm detecting a gaseous anomaly on the far side of the planet. It seems like a good place to start our search. Sir, the gases are a type unknown to us. Could be a weapon, perhaps a form of untriggered explosion, or an ionized gas that plasmates when contact with a warp field. I am completing a more detailed analysis now. Third, the preservers use various forms of matter to conceal their codes. This gas has some properties. Alright, go to the moon. Getting too close to the planet's atmosphere. So the moon's interior seems to have been carved into an enormous map of the orbits of this system. The map indicates the presence of 2 large asteroids, but you can only find one in the scanners. Based on the orbits that may have collided some time ago, it would have been glorious to see. You may find remnants of the debris that remains from that collision. The preservers are fond of riddles and secrets. We have prevailed nonetheless. We should scan the star chart and add it to our existing fragment. Perhaps it will point the way to the next fragment. Peter has synthesized a new star chart from our 2 fragmentary scans. Preliminary analysis indicate that whoever created these charts have placed great significance on an L-class planet in the Manic system. Course plotted and standing by and engage at your command. Let's do it. Captain, I'm detecting a breeding squadron dead ahead, but they're moving away from us at full impulse. Brain have no honor, but they are not cowards. They would not shy away from a fight unless it served no purpose for them. If, for example, they already have a piece of the star chart. I can't set interception course, sir. Do you want to chase them down and take the star chart from them? Yes, I do.
Target shields have failed.
You think you frigates can hold me? Sir, we've intercepted a transmission from one of the Breen ships. The message was unsecure and they may have not time to encrypt it during the firefight. The message contains a fragment of the star chart. They must have retrieved it from the planet below before we arrived. For all we know, Breen ships could already be en route to the archive. I'll begin analysis to determine our next location immediately. Star chart analysis complete. The map is leading us back to Raven 2. We cannot allow the Breen to stop us from attaining our goal. We need all the pieces of the chart to find what observers are hiding. Of course, the Raven system will lay it in. We can leave on your command. Let's do it to it. Doing a lot of running around in this mission again. Scanners are picking up evidence of a running skirmish on the surface of the planet. It appears the Breen are attacking an archaeological dig site. Do not allow the Breen to escape with a piece of the star chart. So we are scanning preserver power sources from inside that boulder near the center of the crater. The Breen seem to be patrolling the entire area. This will be an excellent opportunity to hone our skills in battle. Once we have dispatched the Breen guards, we can find the preserver technology and claim it for the Empire.
Shield losing power.
Breen eliminated, we can destroy the face of that boulder. Yep, already did. And of course you come to steal my stuff. I'd like to personally thank you for finding the final star chart fragment. I know you're going to be ultimately prove useful. Perhaps I would consider sparing your life. Of course, only just spare it up to this point anyway, so things would have ended the same way. Still, considering all you've done to aid the Breen in their final goal, I might consider letting you and your officers live. Oh, I know you will reject my offer and charge me like a thoughtless beast, but I thought I should make it anyway. If you wish to fall today, however, I'm happy to help you. Why don't you think it over and give your answer to Thought Par? He's been dying to meet you ever since you could defeat Thought Grand. There's my offer.
Personal shield losing power. Enemy combatants in close proximity. Personal shield losing power.
This may be the final piece of the star chart. We should scan it and then assemble it. Scanning and transmission are complete. To be able to follow the Preserver star chart, we've arrived before the brain. We can take whatever we find. Arrive after, we'll have a chance to gauge the brain again. Tactical team ready to return to the ship in your command. Excellent work, Dahar Master. Our stellar cartography teams are looking at the star charts. You're recovered as we speak. Might take some time to completely compensate for the stellar drift. If we can pinpoint the location, I'm confident that my government will authorize the expedition to find this Preserver archive. All things in balance, all things in time. Alright, and that's the end of this stream, so everybody have a great evening, and I'll see you Friday.